Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The SEC has proactively been sued yet again. This happening on Tuesday. A cryptocurrency exchange, Crypto.com in this case, received a Wells notice indicating the SEC's intent to sue the hell out of them and try and ruin their entire damn business, because that's what those devil, terrible, hellspawn creatures, winged creatures from the depths below, that's what they want to do. They want to light everything on fire, everything that the hardworking entrepreneurs have been doing, these businesses supporting workers, supporting their families. They want it all up in flames. That's what they're trying to do here. So what you do love to see is somebody proactively fight back against them before this happens. Now, I absolutely on the side of, and I think that we're probably all pretty much going to agree on this, we should support this, but I have a little bit of disappointment in my heart, because what did Crypto.com do during the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit? Do you know what they did? But before going any further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so let's run through this real quick, and then I also have a little bit of perspective from attorney James Murphy of the XRP community, aka Metal Lawman on social media platform X. But here's the headline from CoinDesk. Crypto.com sues SEC Chair Gary Gensler after receiving Wells notice. Cryptocurrency exchange Crypto.com said it sued the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Chair Gary Gensler, and its 4 commissioners after the regulator sent a Wells notice, a warning that an enforcement action might be coming to the company. And so, you can think about that for a second here. The Wells notice, so yes, it indicates, and this article does go on to state that, it's an intent to sue. That's what the Wells notice is. Hey, we're the SEC. Almost said the SEC on accident, but actually that might be better. We're the SEC. We're a bunch of asshat pricks at the SEC, right? And so what we do is we're here to ruin your life. We're a government agency. We're here to ruin things for you and your family and everything that you've built for years. That's what we do. And so the notice is sent, but at that point, the commissioners do still need to vote. Now, technically, Gary Gensler, even though he's the chair, he actually technically is one of the 5 commissioners, so there's 5 total. And there's a little bit of back and forth, because there is an opportunity, by the way, for Crypto.com, even outside of suing here, which is the route they went, to push back against this and to send information over to be considered, so that when the commissioners vote, that will be taken into account, and in theory, make it less likely that they're going to vote to sue you into oblivion. But reality shows that almost every single time one of these Wells notices goes out, it does result in the commissioners voting to sue. And it's right down party lines, almost like pretty much 100% of the time. It's the Democrats voting to sue everyone into oblivion, and the Republicans not. Now there are exceptions to that. Obviously, if you look at what happened with Jay Clayton, he was under the Trump administration. He pushed that through, absolutely. But typically, what you see with the commissioners, it's so partisan, and it shouldn't be. It's just a mockery of what our entire system is supposed to be. But that's what it is here. And so you'll see here as I go through the article, Crypto.com, they're like, yeah, we ain't waiting for that. And I appreciate that. I actually do appreciate that they've got a little bit of fire in the belly and move forward here. But anyway, piece continues. The court filing was made to protect the future of crypto in the U.S., CEO Chris Marzalek said in a posting on X. The suit is a warranted response to the SEC's regulation by enforcement regime, which has hurt more than 50 million American crypto holders. The Wells notice was sent to Crypto.com on August 22nd, the filing revealed. Such notices are preliminary warnings stating that charges the SEC may bring. They usually lead to enforcement actions. Oh, yes, they certainly do. And so this has been under wraps for about a month and a half. Crypto.com didn't tell anybody, hasn't leaked out, which is fine. That's not a critique. I'm just noting that is indeed the case here. And I'm willing to bet that they'll get all sorts of support as they go through all this nonsense. So, there's a chance that this lawsuit, maybe it's not even going to be accepted by the court. And in that case, I think it's a virtual certainty that Crypto.com, they're going to get sued by the SEC. I'm sure, almost certainly, that the commissioners are going to vote for that to occur. Now, if that happens, I'll not be surprised to see the entire industry rally around them. But I asked a question at the outset of the video. I asked, you know what Crypto.com did when the when the SEC was attacking Ripple, do you know what Crypto.com did? I'll tell you the answer right now. Nothing. They did absolutely nothing. They didn't even file an amicus brief. Now, at this point, it's very clear that Brad Garlinghouse and John Deaton and everybody else early on that said, hey, this isn't just an attack on Ripple, it's an attack on the entire industry. Now that's commonly understood. Back then, people mocked Brad Garlinghouse and John Deaton for saying stuff like that, outside of the XRP community, of course. People were mocking them for saying that, and they were correct. Absolutely, they were correct. And so thought it was this little siloed off problem just for the Ripple and also the little XRP holder idiots, because we're wrong about that coin we hold, and everybody's on the toxic Bitcoin maxi side because reasons thinks that they can just be jackasses to our community. It's so tribal. But now it's understood that that's not the case. They're coming for everybody here. But Crypto.com did not file an amicus brief. Now, we did get all sorts of support, and a lot of it was late in the game, including from the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Like, they came super late. I wish they would have come sooner. I wish they would have been more vocal throughout the entire process. Coinbase, okay, credit where it's due. They came late on. And I'm glad they did. They filed an amicus brief, but they were so silent throughout the entire process. Where was Brian Armstrong? Where were the Winklevoss twins? Like, all these people that will bitch up a storm about every other thing the SEC's doing, where the hell were they when the XRP holders were getting attacked? Oh, it's just crickets. So I have a little beef that I have to mention this. So they're going to get support from us, and they should. And I'm not saying we should support them. I will vote. I'll be very vocal on that. But I have to mention this because it grinds my gears that they were just crickets when we were getting attacked, and now we are expected to just come to their defense. And I say we, I'm talking the broader crypto community, right? And certainly the XRP community. And we should. So I still support that, but I'd feel dirty if I didn't mention that, because I really believe it is disappointing. It's so tribal. It's so stupid. But yes, they should get the support from us. Anyway, Peace continues. The SEC has been regulating the crypto sector through a series of enforcement activities, an approach that Crypto.com and others in the industry, including Binance, Ripple, and Coinbase, are fighting. In August, OpenSea received a Wells notice alleging non-fungible tokens, or NFTs for short, on its platform were securities. OpenSea CEO Devin Finzer said at the time the company was shocked but ready to stand up and fight. In April, decentralized crypto exchange Uniswap also received one, which it urged the SEC to withdraw. Crypto.com seeks declaratory and injunctive relief to prevent the Securities and Exchange Commission from unlawfully expanding its jurisdiction to cover secondary market sales of certain network tokens sold on the company's platform, the suit said. Yeah, and so I'll pause to note here, this is thankfully not a concern that we have specifically for XRP. As far as the appeal is concerned in the SEC v. Ripple case, it is not about secondary market transactions, transactions that you and I might take place in. It is explicitly about Ripple's transactions, and that's all it can be about, because Judge Torres didn't rule on secondary transactions that don't pertain to Ripple. It's in a footnote in the ruling. And since she didn't rule on it, the SEC absolutely cannot appeal it. There's nothing to appeal. It wasn't ruled on, right? So that's the good news for us. And so the approach that the SEC has taken, and this is Operation Choke Point 2.0, it's part of it, is to go after the exchanges and just claim that they're selling these things as securities rather than tackle every single individual project. That is what they're doing here. So thankfully, XRP itself is in the clear, but I'm still worried about the other coins that I hold. I hold a total of 42 different cryptocurrencies right now, which is more than I necessarily need to, but I've been here for almost 7 years, so it's kind of added up. But I'm just saying, I am worried about the rest of my coins. And so that's where we're at right now. Anyway, the filing said the SEC determined network tokens, except for Bitcoin and ETH, as securities, and thus issued the notice to Crypto.com, which offers trading of other cryptocurrencies for operating as unregistered broker-dealer and securities clearing agency under the federal securities laws. Now, I found that interesting. Think about it. So that's what we're getting from Crypto.com. They're saying that they were told by the SEC, hey, network tokens. So that means everything they're saying, except for Bitcoin and ETH securities. Where's XRP listed? And even the SEC said they're not going to appeal the legal status of XRP. Even they wrote that to Judge Torres, but they still won't say it. They are so butthurt about this because anything good for XRP it's really going to internally just make their blood boil. You know, and plus I don't think they like us XRP holders, obviously, because let's be real, like over 75,000 of us from our community were represented by Attorney Deaton, and that did not help the SEC's case. It certainly helped us. So that part's good. So let's be real, they don't want XRP. So I'm not surprised that XRP is not listed there, but doesn't that show you something? Like, we just went through this whole process and you can't list XRP alongside Bitcoin and ETH. Are you freaking serious? And the answer is yes, they're serious. Because they're a bunch of asshat pricks. They are spawns of Satan, winged creatures from the depths below. Here was the actual post from Chris. This is the one that was referenced. He's the CEO of Crypto.com. And he wrote the following. Today, Crypto.com filed suit against the SEC to protect the future of crypto in the United States. This unprecedented action by our company against a federal agency is a warranted response to the SEC's regulation by enforcement regime, which has hurt more than 50 million American crypto holders, and to use all regulatory tools available to bring certainty to the industry through proper rulemaking. Crypto.com has also filed a petition with the CFTC and SEC to confirm crypto derivative products categorization. While we welcome recent bipartisan support for the industry, that message has not been received by current SEC leadership that issued us a Wells notice. The SEC's unauthorized overreach and unlawful rulemaking regarding crypto must stop. Recent rulings have made clear that crypto itself is a security. Wait, is not a. Let me reread that one. Recent rulings have made clear that crypto is not itself a security, and thus is not an investment contract simply because it changes hands. Well, obviously that's true. For this reason and many others, we continue to be very bullish on the U.S. crypto market and our imminent plans to expand our offerings to U.S. customers. And so there you go. Now here is what Attorney James Murphy had to say upon seeing this news. Today, Crypto.com preemptively sued the SEC in Texas in response to an SEC Wells notice. The Wells notice simply reiterates claims the SEC has made against other crypto markets like Coinbase and Binance. Rather than rolling over, Crypto.com is following the Ripple playbook and responding to SEC threats with offensive tactics. Bravo. Yeah, and so I'm glad they're doing it. We'll see if this is allowed to proceed. I'm not sure exactly what the bar is at, and since I'm not an actual lawyer and I just play one on YouTube, not sure, but happy to discuss that further in a future video. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to say about this. There's also this question by somebody named Satvinder Sagu, whose name I'm probably butchering on accident. My apologies. He wrote to Attorney James Murphy and he said, why aren't the networks in this document, Solana, Cardano, and he names a bunch of other ones, also countersuing the SEC? Even from the Binance and Coinbase cases? And that is indeed a very good question. Here's what Attorney Murphy said. It's a perceptive question. A judge would almost certainly permit founders of these projects to intervene in these cases because they have a clear quantifiable interest in the outcome, i.e., whether it is legal for their native tokens to trade on secondary markets in the US. But there are pros and cons to getting directly involved. Okay, yeah, and so pros would be if things go well, then you have additional clarity for whatever the hell you're working on. The cons being, it's the same thing as the come on, sit down and talk with us, right? But it's coming and register and all, that type of stuff. As Brad Garlinghouse put it, that's lead generation for the SEC. If you're in the world of crypto and you go in to talk to the SEC about your project in good faith to get clearing, and just put everything on the table and you want to do everything by the books, they will take that information and they'll sue you. That's what happened with Ripple. So Ripple is operating in good faith. The SEC just was using that as basically free research from Ripple directly, and then they sued them, right? And so similarly here, if they actually do seek to participate in any case, whether it's Coinbase, name the case. Whatever they say, whatever information comes out, the SEC can then use against them. So that's the downside. So it's a risk, but I do appreciate the offensive. Looks like so far, all these developers for various coins, they are just waiting to see what happens with Operation Choke Point 2.0 going after these exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com. This is an actual effort to shut everything down, and it is stemming almost 100% from one political side of the aisle. I hate to say it, but it is. It is the Democrats. Them's the facts. I don't like it. It shouldn't be like that. I don't think it will always be like that. It is right now. We got to call out the reality that we live in. I hate to see it. But, you know, depending on how things go in November, we could be getting rid of Gary Gensler sooner than later. Oh, praise the Jesus, let it happen. We'll see, folks. We're going to find out together. You know, we're less than a month away. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.